Today I'm going to go over how you can test your handstand push-up in terms of how much range you have. Now this can be done from a strength point of view using the wall, or it can be done from a balance point of view freestanding, and obviously the balance version is also testing your strength. So initially you can look at it from like a partial range point of view. So you start in a handstand and then you start your movement towards the handstand push-up and then you go back again. So it's how deep can you go and come back up again. Initially it could literally be opening the shoulders. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to kick to handstand. I'm going to close the shoulder like I'm going to do a handstand push-up. So the first part of a handstand push-up is I close the shoulder slightly. So that's the shoulder coming forwards, the feet going back. Now I initiate the elbow bend and I head towards the floor, touch the floor, come back up, bring that shoulder back again. So that opening closing of the shoulder might be your initial movement. So literally all you're going to do is open and close. So home position, handstand, close the shoulder, open the shoulder. Now from a balance point of view, we obviously just need to be able to hold that, show control, go back again. From a strength point of view, I can literally just take the shoulders off the wall and go back again. So I'll be in my straight handstand position, shoulders away from the wall, shoulders back again. Now that's the prerequisite. I recommend that everyone who's working handstand is able to open and close the shoulder, whether it's freestanding or against the wall. And then the next stage is we just start to bend the elbows and see how low we can go. Now ideally you're going to have targets that you can change the height of incrementally. So in this video I'm using cork yoga blocks. Now this is one of my favorite pieces of equipment for handstands. You can handstand on them. You can use them as a target and they have different heights. So I can have obviously that lowest height, I can go to this side, I can go up onto the end. I recommend getting yourself some of these, ideally 3 or 4 of them. You can handstand on top of them then because you obviously need double the quantity. They're great for stretching and just using as targets. Other things you could use, so you could use something that is a little bit more incremental. So I'm using just these furniture sliders that I use for stretching as well. So I can place them on top of the block and I can slowly take things away. So if you're really working repetitions and want to fine tune the increments, I'd use something like that. We could use foam mats, so something like this. Now ideally you only touching or just kissing your head to them initially when you're just doing the partial range at the top end, but if it's something you can also use when you go into the deficit range, when your head goes beyond the floor, then something you can handstand on, like the yoga block, like the IKEA step. The downside of something like the IKEA step is that it's a fixed height that's already quite high. So in the video I'm showing myself using the yoga blocks only, but you could do something like this where you have a height that raises up and down, so the mats, and you handstand on IKEA steps. So I raise my hands up and down, so my hand height is fixed. This could be P-bars or it could be the steps. And then I just change the height of what my head is going to, so my target here, I could change the height of that. So I could basically be changing the floor height instead of my hand height. So we start with just that shoulder open and closing, and then we slowly decrease the height of the head, ideally to a target so it's measurable. Once we can get down to the floor and push back up, then we can just start doing the same and increase the height of the hands and find out how low you can go. Now you can see with my one, I go all the way down as well. I can't literally get any further. I don't have any more range. I can't go any further unless I start to push away from the blocks and start to extend the arms away. Now I personally don't train that one. You need to like hang off the edge of 2 boxes or some P-bars or something and hang out towards them. I think it's like a gymnastic move on the rings. So I personally don't train that one. I've never really explored that. So I stopped when I reached my full flexibility range in terms of how much I can open the chest. So that's the ranges that I went through. Like I say, this can be done up against the wall, so exactly the same versions using the blocks to raise up to initially for a target for the head, and then the blocks to raise up to put your hands onto. Again, you could use the P-bars or IKEA steps and change the height of the floor. Now in the video, I'm just doing 1 repetition at each height. What you could do is find where you get stuck and then just before that range, do repetitions there. So you could set yourself like 5, 3, 10 repetitions to do at a certain height. Obviously, if you're doing higher reps, you're going to have a smaller range. Now, I'm only showing this in the handstand version, but you could do it in like a pike position with your toes on the floor. So something like this, coming down to your target, coming back up, opening back up again. I personally wouldn't start to do a deficit on that one. I wouldn't raise the hands up and take the head lower than the hands. If you can do that, you should really be able to do it up into a handstand position because the goal is a handstand push-up. So we want to try and get towards that handstand as quick as possible. I'll be really interested to know how you guys go with this one. Let me know down in the comments how deep you can take your head or how much you can raise your hands up. Also, let me know if you have any questions. Thumbs up and subscribe will be appreciated, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.